Thank you.
Man. You got to take your losses like you take your wins, man. It's part of the game.
What do you think? Just break down his performance from your perspective, Coach. What do you think about how it went?
I think it was going good, man, but we had some tough spots in camp, and they just seemed to kind of just resonate in the fight. First off, Resendiz fought really good, he fought his ass off. I knew it was going to be a tough fight because guys that fight with underdogs like that, when they don't got nothing to lose, and they could you just fight a little bit more free because nobody's expecting nothing out of you. You got a good coach, and the thing is people just kind of wait Caleb out and just try to put pressure on him down the stretch, and that's the way that guys are gonna fight him. And what I wanted him to do was win the early rounds without expending so much energy. See, sometimes fighters, they want to win rounds by a mile. Just winning the rounds. Resendiz really wasn't throwing a lot of punches early because he don't have the reflexes that Caleb got. So just winning the rounds with our jab, and then when the storm comes, you still got some gas in your tank. But Caleb kind of was overworking winning the earlier rounds. And then the kid, I think he landed maybe a right hand or something when Caleb was in the shoulder roll. I don't teach Caleb to shoulder roll. That's something that he just does. You know what I mean? And when you get a guy at his age, you gotta. He was a world champion before he met me, so I can't just restrict him completely. But I don't like the shoulder roll because sometimes he get hit with right hands. Canelo hit him with a right hand and shoulder roll. So and then it sort of changed the momentum of the fight. The crowd, everybody was getting into it, and every time Resendiz would punch, it was just building up more and more energy towards it, and it was spurring them on. I'm not saying he wasn't landing punches. I'm just saying that every time he punched after that, his fans and stuff, they saw the success, and then I'm like, I knew we had it was like a snowball at that point. Caleb didn't fall apart. He held his own, and it was landing some good shots, but it was the blood and the look of the fatigue, and it just seems like when you in a fight like that, it's one thing after the other, and it was Resendiz's night, man. Sometimes it just be like that. I don't have no excuses. It was a tough camp, but camps are supposed to be tough. You know what I mean? They not supposed to be easy. If a camp is easy, then you didn't do your job.
You said something really quick though.
The right hand, did that get hurt in the fight, or was that kind of a coming into?
I'm be honest with you. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. He kept that from me. He never mentioned it to me. He never said it to me. He was hitting pads. It felt fine. I don't know when it happened. Y'all got to ask him specifically because I really don't know. I never heard nothing about it in camp. He got stitched around, wrapping his hands, so I know he got somebody good wrapping his hands. He got the therapeutic grants. I specifically asked for them because they feel different on the pads. They feel real. It's like a real snapping kind of power that you get with the therapeutic grant. So I don't know nothing about that. Y'all not saying y'all should have, but you can ask him when it happened because he never mentioned it one time in sparring, and he never mentioned it when we hit the pads. And we hit this big ass thing right here. This thing you gotta be able to crack with this. Yeah, so we hit that. He was hitting that net. So we never, I don't know about his right hand.
You said something, Coach. You said, there was things in camp that maybe you were trying to work on or that weren't going exactly how you wanted. Can you talk about what those things were?
I can't get into that. I don't want to get into that. Just out of respect for Caleb. If he wanted to get into it, he could get into it. But it was a tough camp. It was a real tough camp.
Talk to us a little bit about Kai Davis. Took a rough fight tonight as well.
I don't have no excuses for that fight. Karan had a good camp. A really good camp. That kid was just better. That's it. Sometimes
hard punching, unexpected kind of.
You gotta just tip your hat to a guy. You know what I mean? You just gotta tip your hat to him, and that boy could fight. You know what I mean? I thought Kai just seemed a little bit tight in there. He never seemed to get unwinded. He really, and that's credit to the opponent because I don't have no excuse. Kai didn't have no injuries or anything. He just couldn't get his engine started. I don't really know what was going on. He was in the fog the whole time. And but sometimes when you fight a skillful opponent like that can do things like that, sometimes that puts you in the fog. And but he just couldn't really get going. But Kai had a great camp, man. We was up 5:30 in the morning. We was training twice a day. He sparred a bunch of rounds and he got good work. I don't know what happened. I keep hearing people saying, why did y'all pick that opponent? We didn't have no other opponents. Karan got to fight. He got to support his family. if you notice, was May 31st, right? He fought Elijah Garcia June 15th. He was off a whole year after his career best win. He has to eat. He has to feed his family. He has his small child. So with the only other offer we got was to go overseas to Italy to fight for the same money we was going to fight Elijah Garcia for against the #1 contender or the highest ranked contender in the IBF. I wasn't taking him to Italy for $100,000. I can't do that to the kid. You know what I'm saying? We're going to spend $20,000 on resources just to get over there and bring our team over there and do that kind of stuff. I'm not going to let that do. And he come home with 50 grand. You know what I'm saying? I would never do that to him. So we had to take the toughest fight. He wasn't going to get a title shot. So that's the only other person that PBC had for him to fight. So I'm not like making excuses, but that's just what it was. He's a fighter. I'm a fighter's trainer. So I said, all right, we just going to take the Cuban. Like listen, I gotta help Kai pay his bills when he not paying when he don't fight. Can y'all, 100 grand may seem like a lot of money, but you run through that in a year. You understand what I'm saying? You don't bring home 100 grand because you make 100 grand because you gotta pay your team and you gotta pay taxes. So he had to live off of that for a whole year. So he had to fight, and it's part of the game. If we could get a better
Coach,
fight.
do you think tonight, in all honesty, when Resendiz really started to hit Caleb's body, getting back to Caleb, fighters age overnight? We noticed Caleb's left side of his body was really bad beat up. Resendiz kept going there, but Caleb kept sticking in there, fighting the Mexican brawl. Do you think Caleb grew old tonight?
It's hard to say off of one fight, but I do think that Caleb's success with Macumbi allowed him to stay inside a little bit more. Not allowed him, it prompted him to stay inside a little bit more. And to answer your question, no. I saw you when I told you all I want him to do is box and be smart for this guy. He didn't have to fight this kid on the inside. And I don't know if y'all heard my instructions, but I wanted him to box and keep this fight at a distance. And I warned him over and over again, do not fight this boy on the inside.
Did he get caught? Look, he'd been in with Canelo, been in these bigger crowds, 4,000 or 5,000 Mexicans. Did he get caught up in it?
No,
Caleb tonight?
I don't think he got caught up in it. I think that Caleb wasn't having his best night. Resendiz was having his best night, and sometimes when guys meet, when one guy is having the best night that he ever had, and the other guy is a little bit off of his game, and then they meet, you could get an upset. That's why there's no such thing as really a tune-up fight. And I'm not gonna say that he got old, but Caleb has had some tough fights, and the #1 marker in this game of a great fighter is, can you still be great once everybody knows your weaknesses? Because when good coaches and good teams see that you got flaws in certain areas, they're going to try to exploit it. And if your game can't keep evolving and getting better to get beyond that point, then you're going to take a couple of losses. And I think that this fight, Caleb tried to stick to the game plan, but I thought he stayed a little bit inside, a little bit too much. And it was, I didn't want him to stay inside. It was something I talked about. I wanted him to box and make this fight easy and get to the Charlo fight. Do not fight this guy.
Did you watch Jermall warming up tonight? Because Jermall said if Caleb had fought him tonight, Caleb was going to get effed up.
I didn't watch Jermall.
So Jermall must have been watching Caleb's fight.
I don't know. I didn't watch Jermall. I'm in the fight with my guy. I can't see and hear all of that kind of stuff.
Coach.
I'm in the dressing room. I don't know what anybody else is saying.
Coach, when it comes to Jermall Charlo, just a question. Caleb Plant, you've worked with him, obviously. Do you think he was distracted in any way, shape, or form by the fact that that big fight was coming? It was down the road?
No, man. I just think that Resendiz was on him tonight, man. And I knew it. I kept telling Caleb every day in camp, this boy is going to fight his ass off. Manny Robles is an underrated coach. Manny Robles got robbed with Terrell Garcia against Elijah Garcia. He's used to coming in on the B side. He got, in my opinion, he got screwed over with Andy Ruiz because he should have got more props for beating Anthony Joshua. And then Ruiz came back in the comeback fight and was out of shape. So then everybody blames the coaches on that. But Manny Robles, when you have a coach that can win a big fight like that on the B side, that says something about that coach, because you could keep your fighter's self-esteem up when everybody else think they're gonna lose. And I kept telling Caleb, Manny Robles know what he's doing. This boy is coming to fight. I'm a very serious coach. I didn't think this was going to be an easy fight. I saw this guy right here a little earlier in the week, and I said, this ain't no easy fight. I know it wasn't going to be an easy fight. And it is what it is, man. It's just that's the way the shit go.
Real quick,
Coach, how do you pick the pieces?
Go ahead, let him go.
How hard is it for you to train to train two fighters in one night?
Oh, it's not hard. I could deal with that. I done had two fighters fight on one night a bunch of times, and we both won. You know what I mean? It ain't hard. It's just part of the game, you know. That's the way things get set up. They know I got Caleb and they know I got Karan, so they say, okay, I'll put them both on the same card, and that's just that. If you notice, they fought in between each other, so they gave me time to get back in the dressing room and warm Caleb up. So that's part of the game. You got to be a professional and deal with that.